I should like to read now a tale from my book of regrets, The Bubbles of Possibility. Chapter 111. 2. I was hitchhiking through Portland on a rare weekend off. I can take any weekend off I like, or weekday, as I am self-employed, but often choose not to. Have the weekend off, I said. Thank you, I said. I will. There were two issues hindering my hitchhiking. Firstly, I did not know where I wanted to go. I thought offering prospective hitchhikees the choice of destination might be a polite thing to do, but it proved more a hindrance. Secondly, hitchhiking is a pursuit often enjoyed more by the than the E. The drivers do not know you from Adam. One even said so. I don't know you from Adam, he said. Adam, the first ever man? Yes, he responded. I don't know which number man I am, I said. Is that a problem? He had driven away before he even heard the word problem. I wonder if anyone knows what number man they are. I hope somebody is keeping account. I had been by the side of the road a long time. 3 toads had crossed the road. If they were doing so on a strictly hourly basis, I had been there 3 hours. It had not been so long that I had considered living there permanently, gradually constructing a shelter from bracken and the untethered land flotsam from passing trucks, a kind of preemptive housewarming gift from the wind. But I had been there long enough to consider where my next food might come from. I had packed light, a small sachet of dried walnuts and a bowl of cool water. These supplies had lasted my first 8 thumbings and no more. I began experimenting with various techniques, eager to master this sport before the day was through. My destination, after all, was waiting for me. The thumb method was obviously a thing of the past, the realization of which made me feel like the most uncool bear in the flock. 2 thumbs was certainly not right, seemingly making the cars speed by all the faster. Standing still, like a Technicolor statue, was only slightly more successful, as a man in a leaf-grey Buick pulled up, stared out his window at me, then pulled away again. It was only later that I realized my opportunity, and I cursed myself inwardly for not moving at all during those few seconds. I had momentarily forgotten my aim, and gotten into my role as the statue all too much. I recall a similar thing happened to a friend of mine in Monterey. I believe he is still there, on the corner of West Franklin and Adams, earning quite the trade. My next method would not only prove successful, but would alter the course of my life in several ways. Standing as much of a distance from my right arm as was possible, I waved the adjoining hand quite frantically as though it were on fire. It took several attempts to realize that the appropriate accompanying face did not aid the chances of success. However, neutral-faced, hand energized like a goose in an electric river, I immediately got my first bite. A small parrot-blue hillman rolled to a stop the other side of the road. Perhaps I had been on the wrong side all along. I crossed over like a toad transformed. I was surprised to see a woman there in the car. While really there was a 51% chance of this, I did not expect a woman to stop for someone she did not know from Eve. I went over to the window and started talking too early before I was even halfway across the road. I think the sun may have got to me there in my time by the side of the road. I continued talking regardless as I approached the car, although the window remained up, unrolled. She waved her hand as though it was lightly singed, and it dawned on me that she wished for me to go to the other window on the far side of the car. to get me out of the road. That was thoughtful, I thought, and said. Around the other side of the car, the window was down, the car now an open sardine tin. "What were you doing?" she said. "Fishing for cars, I suppose." "Well, what now?" she asked. "Do I get thrown back onto the road or cooked for your supper?" I said. "Get in," she said, with her mouth and hand. She was 3 autumns beautiful, and smelt faintly of moss, her long cow-brown hair hanging happily down to her lap, occasionally passing over her mouth. That was a crossroads I could happily have waited at all day. "Where are you going?" she asked. "Forwards," I said, "but I don't know beyond that." I did not know beyond that. "Well, I don't really know either," she beamed. "Let me know when we're there." Sometimes you can find out all you need to know about someone in 25 seconds or until they run out of the elevator. Sometimes you wish you had started to find out years ago, as you fear now you may not have enough time left to find out all you wanted to. Annabelle was in the latter category. Originally from Tahoe, she ran a small pop-up store named Annabelle Lanigan's Enamel Animals. It popped up wherever and wherever she wanted, as it was more a picnic blanket than a store. She offered me cauliflower soup and a chocolate brownie, saying I could eat them in any order I liked. My mind was doing somersaults, but landing them badly and receiving poor marks from the judges. She allowed me to peruse the store as we drove. I wiped my fingers on the way in and got to browsing. The enamel animals were all loving renditions of the least popular animals in nature: stonefish, ticks, wasps, etc. "Have you found a gap in the market?" I asked. It turned out she had not. Business was slow. I offered to buy an enamel manatee. She haggled beautifully. $5. "How about $5 and a poem? $5 and a new word." "A new word?" "Yes," she said. "I would like a word I have never heard before." This seemed reasonable. I found 6 coins in my pocket, making up the agreed amount, and offered to her "sponglet." She accepted. I was glad she did not ask the meaning, as I did not know it myself, being a new word to both of us, a new word to the universe. We drove through towns, through scrubland, over estuaries and around corners, past farmyards, construction sites, market stalls, dells, raccoons, you name it. We may have passed a sponglet or two without realizing it. The sun began to drag its feet, then sink slowly in between the hills, like a scoop of orange sorbet left on the back of a Bactrian camel at sunset. Annabelle drove us all the way to Vegas, where we were married by a vicar in a diamante dress. We consummated the marriage that night on a bed of ostrich feathers, and we had 16 beautiful children. This, I am sad to say, is untrue. On this occasion, audience, I have lied to you. The last 37 words like little droplets of poison dripping onto the page from a quill or pipette. The truth is this. Annabelle Lanigan drove me to Troutdale, where she informed me that this was my destination, and placed a kiss on my forehead at point-blank range. I asked her whether she had made the cauliflower soup herself. She had. Though I wanted to say and ask so much more to her, my mind was drawn to thought, how we are the generation consuming items with no need to give thought to their arrival into the present day. I wished I could thank all those who found out how not to extract milk from animals over the years. And by that time, she was gone. I entered the closest bar I could find, where I was served by a man in a No Regrets t-shirt, although I am sure he had plenty. Music was playing in one corner, where a solitary man was dancing as though attempting to escape his own head. I took out the manatee, ordered some pumpkin wine, and we sat, rejects in a world of disorder and could-have-beens. We will never speak the language of our own selves. A crab will sometimes go forwards by accident. Death is like breadcrumbs, so many varieties.